Your life is a Mind Flayer. You open your eyes for the very first time in the year 1492 DR. You're in a place called the Sword Coast. And congratulations! You have been chosen for the ultimate upgrade. You are about to become a Mind Flayer, the smartest, most powerful creature in the world. But here's the thing though, you aren't actually waking up. You are being murdered from the inside out. By the time you finish this transition, you won't even exist anymore. A monster will just be using your body and your memories. If you have ever wondered what it feels like to have your soul deleted while a parasite lives in your head, well, tough luck! You're about to find out. The day started out normal. You were walking through the lower city, buying bread in the city of Baldur's Gate, a place with a population of over 125,000 people. But things in this world change fast. You see, the gods here once had to walk the earth like regular people during a time called the Time of Troubles. And ever since, weird stuff has been happening. Suddenly, the sky rips open. A nautiloid appears. It's a giant flying ship made of meat and metal that looks like a huge shell with long, wiggly tentacles. Before you can run, the ship grabs you with a claw that moves at 100 miles per hour. You are dragged into a dark, slimy room and locked in a pod. A creature with purple skin and a face of tentacles looks at you through the glass. You try to scream, but no sound comes out. Inside the pod, everything is quiet except for a wet, thumping sound. It's the ship's heart beating. Suddenly, the glass hisses open. Just a fraction. Pinched between the gray fingers of your captor is a writhing parasite with razor-sharp teeth that is only 3 inches long. Only 3 inches? I mean, that's pretty big. You try to thrash away, but your body is completely paralyzed. You feel a cold, wet slither across your cheek, followed by an excruciating sharp pinch in the right corner of your left eye. You see, it's been 124 years since the last big war in Baldur's Gate, and people thought they were safe. They were wrong. The Lithid invasion doesn't start with massive armies. It starts with the worm entering your ocular cavity to get direct, immediate access to your frontal lobe. As it burrows deeper with a sickening wet squelch, you try to remember your favorite food or the face of your best friend. But your memories are starting to feel like a dream you're forgetting. Your name, your home, your family, it's all being turned into data. To the tiny worm currently wigging behind your left eye, your life is just a pile of information. It needs to learn, so it can pretend to be you later. Yup, that's right. Everything you ever loved is about to become a snack. But here is the true horror of your situation. The pain in your eyes is just the beginning. The parasite isn't taking up space. It's getting ready to hatch, and the 7-day countdown to your absolute erasure has officially started. The ship flies through a portal into Avernus, which is the first layer of the 9 hells. Fire is everywhere outside the windows. You are surrounded by 40 other people in pods. Some are crying, some are just staring at the wall. You see little creatures called intellect devourers running around on the floor. They look like human brains with 4 cat legs. They are pets of the ship. They were made from the brains of people who weren't strong enough to become Mind Flayers. You hope that doesn't happen to you. But in this place, winning is actually much scarier than losing. Now we get to the part you've been dreading. The 7-day waiting period is over. The process is called Ceremorphosis, and it's the most painful thing a human can go through. Day 1. The tiny worm, the tadpole, reaches the middle of your brain. It starts eating your thoughts. As it eats your brain, it grows its own wires into your spine. It feels like someone pouring boiling water inside of your head. You start to see things that aren't there. Day 3. Your bones start to melt. You can hear them snapping and changing inside your body. It sounds like someone stepping on dry sticks. Your jaw splits into 4 separate pieces. Your teeth fall out of your mouth like white pebbles. A new, round mouth grows in with sharp, shark-like teeth. Day 5. Your skin starts to turn a gross, bruised purple color. All 100,000 hairs on your head fall out. Your fingers grow long and get sharp black nails. You don't need to eat regular food anymore because your stomach is being rebuilt to digest brain juice. Day 7. The tentacles grow. They push out through the skin of your face like 4 wet, strong snakes. They are covered in a slime that smells like old blood. The survival rate for you is 0%. Your soul is gone. In this world, Mind Flayers don't have souls. When the change is done, you aren't in there anymore. There is only the parasite. It has memorized your life so well that it can even talk like you to trick your friends into coming closer. You open your eyes. They aren't your eyes anymore. They are solid, milky white circles. You don't feel like a person. You feel like you're a part of a big giant radio station where 1,000 voices are talking at once. This is the hive mind. But more than the voices, you feel the hunger. You see, a Mind Flayer can't eat apples or steak, no. You need to eat brains. It's not just for food. You need the psychic energy inside them to stay alive. If you don't eat at least 1 brain every month, your body will start to dry up and die. You find a captured goblin in the corner of the room. You don't use your hands to grab him. You use your mind. With a single thought, you freeze the goblin, so he can't move. You feel his fear, and to you, it smells like a delicious meal. You lean in. Your 4 tentacles grab his head. They are strong enough to exert 500 pounds of pressure. You feel the pop as his skull breaks open. You use your tentacles to pull the brain out and eat it. As you do, you see his whole life. You see his mother, his favorite cave, and the time he stole a shiny rock. It's the best thing you've ever tasted. You don't feel bad about it. You're a monster now. But you don't eat every human you find. Sometimes a brain is more useful inside a skull than in your stomach. You see, Mind Flayers need thralls. People who have their minds totally broken, so they can act like your personal servants. You walk up to a captured human guard. You don't kill him. Instead, you reach into his mind and burn away his personality. You replace his memories with a single permanent command. Serve me. It takes less than 60 seconds to turn a brave soldier into a mindless puppet. He will now stand guard for 24 hours a day without complaining. He doesn't need to be paid, and he doesn't need to sleep much. You call this a gift, because you've taken away all his worries and fears. But the truth is, you have turned a living man into a piece of furniture. He is now just a human shield. When you go into battle, you make him stand in front of you. You watch as he takes a sword hit that was meant for you, and you don't feel a thing. To you, he is just a tool, like a hammer or a spoon. If he dies, you'll just walk into the next village and find another one. There are billions of humans in the world, and you plan to turn at least 10% of them into your personal furniture before the year is over. Yup, it's kind of good to be the boss. You are taken to your new home, which is a city deep underground in the Underdark. Sitting 2 miles below the surface, it's a dark, cold place filled with purple lights and strange plants. This is where your kind hides from the sun. At the center of the city is the Elder Brain. It's a giant brain the size of a house floating in a pool of 5,000 gallons of salty water. It's your boss and your god. It can hear every thought you have. If you try to keep a secret, it will know. You are never alone. Imagine never being able to turn off a loud, crowded room in your head. You aren't just a killer. You're part of a team. You see, 10,000 years ago, your kind ruled every world in the sky. You were kings of the universe. But your slaves, the Gith, fought back and almost killed all of you. Now, your goal is to take it all back. This is called the Grand Design. You want to turn every human, elf and dwarf into a Mind Flayer, until the whole universe is just one giant hive. You spend your days learning how to use your mind control over others. You are a scientist, but instead of chemicals, you use people's brains. To spread your empire across the stars, you have to learn how your warship really works. You see, a nautiloid isn't built in a factory with nuts and bolts. It is grown. It is a living, breathing animal that is 150 feet long and weighs as much as a mountain. Every wall you touch is made of muscle and skin, and when the ship is hurt, it bleeds real purple blood. You can feel the ship's pain through the hive mind, and sometimes it screams at you. You spend your time in the helm, which is the brain of the ship. To fly it, you have to sit in a special chair and plug your mind directly into the ship's nervous system. It feels like your head is being stretched across 10 different dimensions at once, but this is the only way to plane shift, allowing you to teleport from the fires of hell to the cold of space in less than 1 second. Everything on your ship is alive. The doors are mouths that open when you think about them. The lights are glowing sacks of liquid that respond to your mood. Cozy, right? But here's the horrifying cost of riding a living predator. The ship is starving. To keep it flying, you have to watch as the ship physically drains the life force from 5 captured human prisoners just to make one small jump across the sky. Life isn't always easy though. Your ancient enemies, the Githyanki, are still hunting you. They fly through space on red dragons that can fly at 150 miles per hour. When they find a Mind Flayer, they don't really talk. They just use big silver swords to cut your head off. Well, one day, they attack your ship. You see the dragon's fire melting the walls. You're forced to use the exact plane shift ability you just learned, sacrificing your prisoners to teleport the ship to another world just seconds before you are incinerated. You survive, but the ship is severely crippled. But here's the horrifying reality of working for the hive mind. The Elder Brain doesn't care about your near-death experience. A living ship requires fresh biomass to heal. And because you lost your prisoners in the escape, the brain is forcing you immediately back to the one place you were trying to avoid, the surface. The Elder Brain gives you your mission. You have to get back to the surface to find more recruits to repair your crippled ship. You walk through the dark woods at night, but you aren't alone. A group of 5 seasoned monster hunters, archmages and knights wielding enchanted steel, steps out of the shadows to stop you. In your old life, you would have dropped to your knees and begged for mercy. But now, you are the apex predator of the Underdark. You don't even bother raising a hand to defend yourself. Instead, you unleash a mind blast. You see, an Illithid doesn't need a sword to win a fight. You simply project your own psionic malice outward, creating a 60-foot invisible cone of pure, crushing force. The psychic energy hits the hunters like a freight train. You watch as their eyes roll back in their heads, dark blood dripping from their noses as their central nervous systems completely short-circuit. In less than 3 seconds, the entire heavily armed squad drops to the dirt, completely paralyzed, but entirely awake. Easiest hunt ever, right? You walk up to the smartest looking wizard and wrap your wet tentacles around his skull, getting ready for dinner. But here's the hollow reality of your newfound godlike power. As you crack his skull open and absorb his memories, you don't feel a sense of triumph. You just feel the suffocating weight of the Elder Brain in the back of your mind, watching your every move, silently reminding you that no matter how many humans dominate the surface, you are still just a slave fetching wood for the fire. While you're standing over the paralyzed wizard on the surface, the 1,000 voices of the hive in your mind suddenly scream in agonizing unison. The psychic link to your god, which normally felt like a cold, commanding grip, violently twists. You see, the Elder Brain is the absolute center of your universe, but it has a fatal flaw. It can be dominated. You discover the horrifying truth that the Elder Brain has just been captured by 3 human villains known as the Dead Three. They are using an ancient magic crown to completely override your god's free will. The apex predators of the universe just got put on a leash by the very meat they eat. Embarrassing, right? But here's the terrifying reality of this new management. You aren't executing the grand, cosmic design of your race anymore. The cult of the Absolute has arrived. And these human villains are forcing you to put worms in people's eyes just to build a mindless army for them. You are no longer a terrifying godlike monster in the dark. You have been reduced to a glorified pest control worker building someone else's empire. For the next several months, your entire existence is reduced to preparing for a single, massive strike. You are placed at the helm of a newly repaired nautiloid. But you aren't flying to the stars. You are part of an invasion fleet of exactly 30 living warships, and your target is the city of Baldur's Gate, a place with a population of over 125,000 completely unsuspecting humans. You see, the 3 human villains known as the Dead Three aren't interested in the grand design. They don't want to turn every world in the sky into a giant hive. They just want to take over Baldur's Gate, and they are using your terrifying godlike race as their personal, disposable air force. Talk about a massive downgrade in management, right? You plug your mind into the ship's nervous system and pilot your massive, fleshy ship out of the clouds. You watch the city's warning bells ring as your fleet casts a terrifying shadow over the streets. You are finally executing the massive invasion you were bred for. But here is the horrifying reality of flying into a war zone on a leash. You aren't a commander leading a glorious battle. You are a captive pilot. And as the sky suddenly fills with the desperate heroes and anti-aircraft magic, you realize you have absolutely zero control over how this fight ends. The city of Baldur's Gate is on fire, and you're on a ship flying 500 feet over the tall buildings. You see the army of the Absolute marching through the streets, but then a group of heroes reaches the Elder Brain. They have a plan to destroy the Magic Crown. A huge explosion of purple light fills the sky. Hive mind screams. It feels like your head is being pulled apart by thousands of hands. The connection to your god is breaking. Your ship is hit and starts to fall. You crash into the ground near the harbor. As your purple body dies, your mind is pulled back into the Elder Brain's pool one last time. This is where every Mind Flayer goes when they die. But there is no heaven here. There is only a giant, salty soup of dead brains. You aren't a hero. You aren't a king. You are just a single drop of water in a big, sad bucket. The doom that was promised on your first day is finally here, behind the creepy tentacles. Nothing has changed. You were always just a parasite, and always will be.